And greetings my lovely viewers, welcome back to the next session of the time trials of Rayman Origins. Still lovely Zupersonic, and in the last session we've gone through the first 4 worlds. And now we're moving on to the Gourmet Land. And we're doing this level right here. Got 126 to spare. This level. And I would say this is where the difficulty of the time trials really comes into play, because these levels can be very tricky to do. And if you're underwater, make sure you mash the attack button, which will give you an additional boost and can really save your bacon in these kinds of levels, and especially in the water levels where we're going to encounter not too long from here on out. So these ice can be very slippery. If you want to get additional dash, make sure you boost on it, but make sure you jump on time as well, because that extra additional boost can really screw up your jumping momentum and careen yourself right off the edge, which can be very disappointing. And here's Edit up again, also getting drilled on by this guy right over here. But yeah, we could actually technically take the shortcuts as well. They're taking right now, because we also got the power-ups from this guy. And we're gonna make a lot of note of that when we're gonna rescue Helena Handbasket. We're gonna take a lot of shortcuts in that stage, which is going to be very amazing. But that's not going to be until the next video, because this is about 22 minutes. There's going to be one video for these last 2 worlds. The reason for that is because these 2 worlds only have like 3 stages each in time trials instead of 4. So this video goes by much faster. And especially the last one, because the last one only has 3 stages each, so there's going to be only like 6 time trials in the end. Hence why the video is about 15 minutes. I believe there's like 3 stages each in this world, so I've got about 12 time trials to go through instead of 16. Saves 4 time trials. And I would say the most difficult levels coming up. The next one can be very tricky, but also the one in the additional world we're gonna be seeing soon can also be very tricky to do. For this, I just suggest just dive under it. You can go through the second one if you're fast enough, but I kind of screwed up there in the end, and can save you a lot of time. You're pretty much gonna have to do it if you want to get the 1 minute 20. So make sure you follow that advice. If you don't, well, you're pretty much screwed now. You have to follow my advice, or not. You're not forever gonna make it. Kidding. I mean, if you find another way to get through this within 1 minute 20, then by all means go do that. But that's the way I got through this, and I succeeded in the end, so take it or leave it really. Maybe you don't even care about the trophies and you just want to see this time trial. Just get off the Electoons. Well, the Electoons, it's pretty much very easy to get. The time trial, the trophies for us, that's Sun. That's where you separate the men from the boys. This one isn't too super difficult, because we've got 10 seconds to spare, even when I screwed up mirror where the pillar hit me in the face. So yeah. I think we got like 2 stages left, or more 2 stages left in this stage. So we've got these first 2, and now we're moving on to the piping hut, I believe. And that's it really. So this one is only 3 stages, and also the additional world as well. This one can be a bit tricky, especially in this section right here, because sometimes you want to move forward, but sometimes you game yourself with this, so this can really screw you up if you want to get a decent time in this run. So hopefully if you get through this within 15 seconds, you'll be just fine. And this, don't use a ground pound, because you will go straight down into the lava, and that can really dig you over. So just drop yourself, don't do anything, and you grab on the thing just fine. And there should be no problems really. Make sure you watch these fire spinning guys. Avoid them as much as you can, or just boop them in the head and give them a whack if they're in the way. And since you're small, you're gonna have an additional boost on the left or the right side. So make sure you take note of that in case you can save yourself, or you want to wall jump your way up something. But I would suggest do the run dash for if you want to deal with enemies. Except for this one, you gotta jump on its head. We're also gonna go straight past that and accidentally fall in the lava, which can which can really screw you up in the later sections. I don't think you really needed this what I'm doing right now. You could have just jumped right over there and just hit the guy and just fine. But I thought it was going to be shorter. Not in the end, really. But if you come through this, you've gone through the most difficult section, because this, well, then again, this can really screw you up as well. You don't really need to hit that if you just jump to the right and can just grab on the rope like so. You don't want to take all of these fancy smanchy shortcuts. If you can take the easy way out, then do it. So just jump over there, jump over him, it should be just fine. I think this is one that took me a couple of tries to get it eventually, because I kept dicking myself over at certain sections. But this you want to take your time, not bum rush it, or you always get your ass burnt by the fire. So sometimes you do want to take your time like so. I almost killed myself right there again. But it should be near the end, around 2 minutes, and that's it. 4 seconds to spare. I got it. Close enough, but I still got it. So I'm pleased with that. Alright then, so that is the first world complete. Now we're moving on to the second world. See, this goes by much faster. See, this is pretty much it. So move on to the world map. I'm going to Lucius Lakes. That's the world I was thinking of. Well, this only has 2 time trials. I would say, is this the one that ticked me over in the march, or is the next? I think this one took me like 20 minutes to do in the end. Because there's a lot of things that are trying to kill you. And some things can really dick you over in the end. So make sure you just... Well, you get it eventually by trial and error, but... This one took me quite some tries before I got it in the end. Especially the jumping beans, you know, take your time, just bounce on them and then continue on it. You can't make it if you jump from that side. Or maybe if you do a run and jump dash. But you just land on the beans if you want to be absolutely certain of that. If you get through this without losing your heart. In case of more difficult sections. This would say is pretty tricky to do, so this might take you some tries before you get it in the end. Because you're gonna go through a lot of sections, and this level is pretty difficult to begin with. So you're gonna have, face a lot of troubles. Really, one small mistake can really dick you over. And for this, I suggest you jump over this, because that fire will block you and will cost you a lot of seconds. Which can really dick you over. Okay, I almost killed myself over there, but I managed to save myself by wall jumping. So that little additional dash you have can really save your bacon. This just jump through the middle and just let yourself drop for the most part. And then move to the right, go through the door. You can pretty much avoid these salt and pepper shakers for the most part. This way you can just roll under it. And just ignore those. Right, it should be, this is going to be the last room. Got about 30 seconds to spare, I believe. Yeah, this is the last room. So this, I suggest you let go of the run button and just hop along like normally. Because if you're too fast, then you're gonna jump over it and you're gonna dig yourself over. So if you get past this section, you made it in the end. So I've got about 15 seconds to spare. I was very pleased when I got this after like 20 minutes. And don't have to deal with this one again. Right, moving on to the next level. It's going to be the final level in this world, really. So this is only 5 time trials instead of 6. I thought it was going to be 6, but no, just 5. I thought it was going to be another teensy up there, but there's not. Only when you first try to play the stage. Now to show his brethren. And you gotta be pretty damn swift on your feet if you want to get these later time trials, because these can get really tricky, if I might add. Try to, give you all the help you can get. And especially slipperiness can throw you off at some point or another. Alright, so, especially with this fruit over there. So, you're probably gonna get hit at one point or another, so if you do get hit, make sure you find a heart ASAP. Because sometimes it can really dick you over, especially this certain sections. I got lucky over there. But you can very easily get hit by a, bouncing piece of fruit. So you gotta be really careful with that. Alright? So just go through the bottom section over here, ignore all of the fruits, and then go through the bottom section, and it should be just fine. You probably could have hit in the left piece of, citrus, so give yourself an additional boost. But you also have the chance you bounce yourself backwards. So that can really dick you over as well. So this time we got no dropped frames, it seems. I'm very pleased with that. I took some liberties to get rid of some additional things to get myself some more. That the PC won't have to do so as much work, so it seems it's paying off because I don't see any dropped frames at the moment, which is very good. And also tweak some settings in the game capture HD thing, the recorder of the Elgato HD Pro 60 thing. So I think that should be just fine. Hopefully it won't drop any more frames when I try to record some more footage. So hopefully that will be the case when I'm gonna do the Land of the Living Dead, which I'm gonna do shortly after this recording session. Also after this recording session, after this commentary section. And since we've beaten this world, we're moving on to one of the final characters, the dead teensy pretty much, but he's got a name. Just gonna take a look at this guy over here. The first Grand Minimus, the worstful wear. Thanks for gunning the heart of the world all this time, old chap. I'll go finish your bucket list. Gesundheit. And that's pretty much it. So the first guardian of the heart of the world. And pretty much the rest of the kings are the rest of the guardians. So, and that Rayman guy over there is evil Rayman, but we'll go into more detail later when we go into the final two worlds. So, first thing first, move on to the Sea of Serendipity. I would say these levels are not very difficult, I would say. I think the levels in the third world are much more tricky, with one or two exceptions, I would say. But I would say this world right here is not really tricky to do so, compared to world number 3 where we have to deal with ice and fire. This one's just water. They can pretty easily blast through the water, no sweat. Here's another fish again. Also stuck in this cage again. These nymphs can't just take care of themselves, now can they? We'll have to deal with another fish for now. Just gonna get the trophy and then leave. It's gonna be stuck in the cage forever. The only one who didn't get trapped in the cage is going to be Batilla, really. The rest of them now are now still stuck in cages. Sucks to be them, I guess. Yeah, hallelujah. Another fish, Edith up, and Helena Handbasket. All gonna be stuck in the cages. So, just bath through this, take all the shortcuts you can get, and this should give you no troubles whatsoever. Like so, I got about 7 seconds to spare, and this took me like pretty much one take. No biggie. So this one shouldn't give you too much problems. So the later levels can be a bit trickier, but I would say that this world is easier than the previous two worlds. I move on to Swing with the Stars. I think one of them can be a bit tricky because you don't have a lot of time. I think it's this one, because you want to be doing that boost thing for as much as you can. What the downside with this boost thing is, you can't really hardly see what's coming up when you're just swimming down and stuff. But make sure you keep on boosting like that, or else you can't make it until the 1/6 time. Because, truth be told, this can be very clutching, because you can barely make it in time. I probably could have used that dash thing more, but I also want to be sure I don't get hit by anything else, because that can really slow you down, like so. Just make sure you keep an eye out on what's ahead. If you know the level fine enough, you can just dash through it as quickly as you can. But don't want to be going too fast, or else you can, get gimped by spikes. So I just picked up there just for certainty. Got about 15 seconds to spare. Can I make it, ladies and gentlemen? Well, if you're probably wondering, I pretty much keep the final takes in. Guess the one in the previous session was just a mistake on my end. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna make it. Very, very closely, if I might add. With about 1 second to spare. But we made it. And this can be quite tricky if you don't know the level layouts well enough. Probably got a lot more time to spare if I didn't get boosted by a bunch of enemies in the earlier part. But we made it in the end nonetheless, so we're pleased with that. Very close, but we made it. Right, time to deal with freaking Flipper. Yes, again. Alright, we got about 1 minute 57 for this trophy. This time we're gonna be, dashing a lot. It's pretty much gonna be the thing you're gonna be doing this wall level. Just dashing, because that's much faster than just running alone, or swimming fast alone. Just keep on dashing, and if you're near the door, make sure you keep a dash just in front of the door so you don't, block yourself when you're near the door and you have to dash again. So you can go through this one fell swoop and not getting blocked by the door and then have to hit it again, losing a couple of seconds in the meantime. So that can really dick you over if you're not careful enough. So just take yourself the shortcut, like so. So now you can just blast through the door. This one you can just blast under it, so you don't have to wait for the TNT to drop down. So it can really save your bacon in later sessions. Just ignore the rest of the TNTs really. Dash forward over here, you can give yourself additional boosts, which can be really helpful. This one didn't took very long. This section can be a bit tricky because, the air swing is pushing you down and you're trying to move through this as fast as possible. So if you're dashing downwards, you can have some additional momentum and that can really dick you over if you're not careful enough. But if you take your time, I believe you make it just fine. Ouch. You gotta be really careful though. That's for sure. Especially with these sections right here where you can just one mistake and will send you backwards. For this I suggest you just stick to the top. Because nothing can really hurt you except for one bit that's coming up. You gotta be paying attention for that. It's going to be right here. Keep an eye out for that. And the rest, you can pretty much swim over the rest pretty much. Just keep dashing, stay at the top. Nothing can hurt you until the final end of the level. Which is going to be coming up shortly. Pretty much you have to do this over here. And the flag is over here nonetheless. So we got about 9 seconds to spare. No biggie. For the last section, just stick to the top and you shall be just fine. Alrighty then, moving on to the final world in this part, the Angsty Abyss. Because this world is right now complete. The Sea of Serendipity, so moving on to the Angsty Abyss. Two levels we gotta do. The Why So Krabby and the next one coming up after that. Let's see. So this one was one take as it seems. As it drops from the beginning of the level. And I immediately can't pass to it. But then you gotta make sure you watch the spikes to the ground because they can really dick you over. If you're not careful enough and don't seem just too late and you can, hit, send backwards or or you'll die and have to start the level all over again. So ladies and gentlemen, pay attention to your surroundings. Blast through it with precision and skill and you should be just fine. I think the last section is coming up. It can be a bit tricky because all the spike fish are blowing in your direction. It's coming up shortly after this right over here. All these fish being off this section right here. This can really trip you up if you get hit in the face by the face. But if you get hit in the face by a fish, but luckily the heart down there in case you got hit along the meantime, or here, for instance. For this you gotta be really careful because the end is right after this. So if you can make it through this within a minute, so you should be just fine. Got 5 seconds to spare. It can be a bit tricky near the end, that's for sure. But we made it just fine with about a few seconds to spare. Right, next up is the final level of this part, this session. It's going to be the Beware of the Mini Murray. Got about 3 minutes left in this video. Gotta wait for the thing to fall down. This wasn't first try, I think this was second or third one. Luckily I have some expertise in these levels. It also helps that I play these levels very shortly before recording the time trials. So these levels are pretty fresh in my mind and you can pretty much blast through it no sweat. So just take the normal route way, the fastest. There's no really shortcuts which you can take over here, just go through the normal route. Ignore everything. And that should be all fine. From here you gotta be paying close attention in case grabby hands want to snap your face in half, which can be very disorientating. But this you can just blast through, you don't have to care about these swordfish hitting you in the face. If you just blast through this no sweat, they can't really hit you. Now watch the jellyfish over here, just follow the looms and you shouldn't be able to get hit over there, which I failed to do because I got hit in the face. So be careful of that, that's for sure. This one 125, so it's not super long, but it can really dick you over if you're not careful enough in certain sections. I think we're about to reach the end of this time trial, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is the last section right here. You don't really have to worry about these big eels over here. They will chase your position, but If you got a heart to spare, this should give you no problems whatsoever. See, the flag is right over there. Without 10 seconds to spare. No biggie, really. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be the end for this part. Got about 1 minute and a half, so we're gonna do some, we'll come back to the snoring tree. Do some things over there. We've got about 5 electrons to collect before the absolute maximum. So we only have 5 time trials to do, really. So they're like very short. Okay, that one's like 3 and the next one is only 2. But first we're going to back to the snoring tree and switch up into Evil Rayman. Pretty much Evil Rayman, Dark Rayman. I think he's from Rayman 1 or Rayman 2, because those are the only 2 games I haven't beaten yet to the end. And I don't remember Evil Rayman in Rayman 3. So it's either from 1 or 2, so I don't quite remember which one it is. Bubble me, Rayman's evil clone. What a nightmare you were. Still single? Well, you're so ugly. Take that back! Take that back! Jerk! Blame it on Mr. Dark. Well, he didn't call me ugly. He's still single. Evil Rayman is pretty upset about this guy. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for today's session. So thank you for watching. If you like what show, consider leaving a like, a comment, or subscribe for more videos like this. So thank you for watching. Lovely Zupersonic signing off. Have yourselves a great day, evening, afternoon, night, and take care.